Good evening. I'm meteorologist Trevor Oliver with Putnam Weather and More, and I'm here to give you the latest weather info and news for Putnam County. Without further ado, let's get into the weather word of the day, which is landspout. Now, a landspout is a tornado that does not arise from organized storm scale rotation and therefore is not associated with the wall cloud visually or a mesocyclone on radar. Landspouts are often associated with towering cumulus or cumulonimbus clouds, and they can be considered the land-based equivalent of waterspouts. Now, hopefully, in a future video, I'll be able to to discuss how to forecast landspouts because it's it's a very interesting topic. It really is. It's worthy of being shared with y'all. Now, having discussed the weather word of the day, let's switch topics to the tropics. Let's start by talking about Hurricane Erin and what a crazy cane it has been over the past few days. It started out as a measly tropical storm and rapidly intensified to a Category 5 hurricane, a major hurricane. Luckily, at the time, it didn't impact anybody directly, and it is not expected to do so in the coming days. Despite that, parts of coastal North Carolina have received tropical storm watches and warnings and have thus been told to evacuate. And fortunately for us here in Putnam County, we won't have any substantial impacts from Erin as it'll be way out in the it'll be far out in the Atlantic from Florida, but there will be some coastal impacts, some minor impacts, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But let's continue by covering these two lows over here. Now this one here highlighted in orange, it has a 40 to 60% chance of developing over the next 7 days, the low here. And the NHC believes, the National Hurricane Center believes this low will shift west northwestward during that time frame and thus miss us. But it is still too early to say exactly what this low will do or where it'll go. So still keep an eye on it by looking at your weather apps or by visiting the National Hurricane Center's website at www.hurricanes.gov. Now this low here, closer to Western Africa, has a much lower chance of developing over the next 7 days. It has a less than 40% chance of developing. So it's not too much of a worry right now, but again, it is still too early to say exactly what it'll do or where it'll go. So keep an eye on it. Now, having covered the tropics, let's get into some information that's more relevant to our area. With Erin off the coast of Florida, high waves will be a risk over the coming days. And so the National Weather Service has issued a high surf advisory, which will be active until 2 a.m. this Friday, which is the 22nd. And that advisory is in place due to the possibility of waves breaking at 5 to 9 feet, in some spots 11 feet. And of course, high rip currents will also be a threat. And so the National Weather Service has also issued a high rip current risk. And all things considered, swimming and surfing are strongly discouraged. But if you do decide to do this, or to do any of those activities, do so at your own risk. Make sure you have a partner nearby to watch you and just make sure you are safe. But again, swimming and surfing are strongly discouraged. So so just don't do either one of those things. Now, having covered the high surf advisory, let's get into the aerial forecast. Right now in Palatka, the skies are clear and the temperature is 83 degrees. The temperature will only continue to drop as we head into tonight. It'll reach a low of 74 degrees. And would you look at that? Only a 10% chance of rain tonight. So the conditions will be great for y'all, for you dog owners. Yeah, tonight's the night to take your dogs for a walk. But if you're not a dog owner, you can always take a leisurely stroll or sit on your porch and enjoy the cool air. Now, the rain chances will increase as we head into the week, and they'll increase quite a bit. The highest they'll get is 90% on Friday and Saturday, but even after that, they'll be high. As you can see here on Sunday, the chances will be around 80% that day. Now, looking at the temperatures, they'll be in the mid the low to mid 90s, so it'll be hot. What a surprise! It'll be hot in Florida during summer. And now looking at those lovely lows, they'll be in the low to mid 70s, a very comfortable range. So for right now, storms will be the primary hazards. If you have plans to be outdoors during the weekend, reconsider those plans. Instead, do something indoors. Spend some quality time with your family indoors, by playing video games or watching movies together. And now let's talk about Crescent City. Right now, the skies are partly cloudy there, and the temperature is 84 degrees. And tonight, the low will be 77 degrees. And right now, the probability of precipitation there in Crescent City is 20%, 10% higher than Palatka. Still, that's low, so don't worry about storms tonight. Not a whole lot, but storms will be a greater concern, especially during the weekend when the rain chances will be around 80%. So again, plan accordingly for that. Reconsider those outdoor plans. And now looking at the temperatures, they'll be in the low to mid 90s, just like in Palatka, and those lows will be in the mid 70s. So those of you in Crescent City will have to watch those storms, and just keep track of them using your weather apps, or by visiting the National Weather Service's website and looking at their radar imagery, whichever is easiest for you. And finally, in Interlachen, it is also clear there, and the temperature is 82 degrees, and the low there will be 74 tonight. And the probability of precipitation there is also 10%, but just like the other locations, the rain chances will increase there in Interlachen. They'll be highest during the latter half of the week and into the weekend. The highest chances will be on Friday and Saturday at 90%, but again, after that, those rain chances will still be high. And now looking at the temperatures, specifically the highs, they'll be in the low to mid 90s, and most likely due to all that rain, and it'll cool the surface, decreasing those highs. And those lows will be in the low to mid 70s. Pretty comfortable overall for this time of the year. So in summary, storms will be the greatest threats at all three locations. So just keep that in mind as we head into the rest of the week and the weekend. Um, and remember, when thunder roars, go indoors. To close, thank you so much for listening. If you liked this video, then leave a like or leave a comment, and consider subscribing, or follow me on X, where I post a lot of my storm chasing content if you're interested in that. And if you are a business owner who wishes to have their their services or planned events advertised, reach out to me in the comments section, and we can work something out together. Once again, thank you so much for listening. I've been meteorologist Trevor Oliver with Putnam Weather and More. Have a great night.